Okay, hi everyone, welcome to the first build video of this year's maze. What I normally do is I normally put two marquees together and I do a sort of little bit of a maze. It's been quite simple over the last few years, but I've got a bit more time, so I'm sort of trying to advance what I normally do. So what I've done this time is I put three marquees together, which seems to work really well. The only disadvantage I had last year is that when we had the strong winds, it bent most of the poles in the marquee. So I've had to strengthen them all up, if you can see there, so it doesn't happen again. That seems to be working really well, but the heavy rain that we just had, it hasn't leaked in places, but it's been quite heavy on the top of it, and where I've only put a bit of tarpaulin up seems to have broke down some of the walls, which I'll show you, and you see the floor's pretty wet. I don't know if you can see that. So what I normally do is this is going to be the entrance, and outside there I always do the usual cemetery stuff. I'm going to do about 20 or 30 pumpkins outside, all carved to light up the path to the entrance, which I think is going to look pretty cool. I'm going to get the guests to actually make those, and then you can bring them to me a couple of days before, and I'll post them all up on posts outside, something for them to get a little bit of photo op maybe afterwards, I don't know. So they'll come through here. I'm going to do a bit of a tree arch that I'm trying to mess around with now, hopefully to try and break this up a little bit so it doesn't just look like a marquee wall from the outside as well as inside. So watch out for the videos. I'll try and get those out there to show how I'm doing that. And then inside I've built loads of walls, and I'll be honest, I literally just grabbed any bit that are good, stuck it all together just to make it nice and sturdy. So it's pretty strong, to be honest, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then I've put these little gates around. There's one here and one there, and all this is for it's just to stop when they're going through the maze going the wrong way. I sort of want them to go through a certain direction, stops them getting lost. And then I've got about 5 actors who will come in when they're not knowing and open up these gates so they go in the right direction. So yeah, when they come in, they'll be heading down this direction, which you might have seen from the last video. This is basically just all pallets stuck together, and then I put loads of cardboard on the side of it, spray painted it black or painted it black. I was going to do a little bit of a sort of stone effect on it, but to be honest, I quite like it is, so I might just keep it as it is, or if I got a bit more time I might do it. But in here I always like to add a little couple of shells. It's really good just to add in some flickering lights, the light for the marquee rather than just me adding in light. Skulls, got these crazy bottles that I stuck some stickers on, and yeah, just coming through. This is where the roof collapsed, so to be honest, I used plasterboard, which I knew was never going to last, but just had what I had lying around. Tried it, failed, so I'll put another piece of wood up there, black it all out again so you won't see that draping down. That gives you this little room. I bought this guy this year. He's the Bog Reaper. Fantastic bit of kit. He grows to about 6 foot, I think, just over 6 foot. Yeah, and he's very, very loud as well. If I turn him on, he's really, really good. And if you've seen the nighttime video, this is where I've got a bit of a strobe light going on. There'll be lots of fog in here as well, so it always helps add to the effect. And then I've done some crosses. I added this on. This is from a cross. Well, it's not the original, obviously. It's me drawing it up, but it's some writing from the French catacombs. I have no idea what it says. Hopefully, it's nothing rude, but it's on there anyway. So we've got a little shelf, skulls, flashing lights. Come around here, and then this is the spiderweb section, which you might have seen from the last video. It's all backlit anyway, or UV lighting, so makes all this white pop, which is really good. And then again, another little shell, some spiders, little water fountain, which I'll put on. And then this little area space here, I'll have some of my actors in here with the robes on, with some LED masks, and that, you know, they've got to walk past them, and that always seems to work. So yeah, good space for some actors, I think. And then we get to this little section. I use sheets to block this one off. I don't normally like doing it, but just because it sometimes just looks a little bit poor doing. But I sprayed it black, and at night time you can hardly see it's a sheet anyway, so I think it's worked this time round. And then just behind this fence or this gate, I've got the usual stuff that I've bought for first year, and they don't always work all the time now. Some of the lights still work, but they don't talk or speak anymore. And then I made this a long time ago. This is just a pair of jeans stuffed with newspaper, expanding foam, and then painted red. I need to put a bit more colour into it, but it's all there. It just adds to the effect of this bit. Once they've gone through the spiderwebs, they'll come through, go through the gate, because this gate will now be open, and this gate will also now be open. theory they were right at the back at the beginning, but I'm going to put some sheets down or some sort of background down which changes the shape, so sort of sometimes disorientates them a little bit. They won't have a clue where they are. I'll put something down here to stop them going back around where the bog reaper was, and makes them come down this way. Then we'll go through this room, and from the video you might have seen it was all red last time. It will be red again for the Halloween party, and I like to have it quite bright here because this is one that's got a little bit more detail in. So we made these bottles quite a few years ago. These are all like washing up liquid bottles, washing machine fluids, any bottle I can find, and then paper mache, paint them all up, and then stuck some stickers on it, which I think works really well, especially with some of these little flickering lights, which I'm going to sort of age up a little bit rather than being so brand new as they are. And then here we've got the usual spell books, dead hand, chopped off hand, books again, random head, and yeah, so a little shelving. I always like to stick a little mirror in now. I think that always works really well, especially when they're coming fancy dress, because they're not used to seeing themselves. So when they see themselves, it sort of freaks them out a little bit. Does a little bit more hard work for me. Bought this guy from the range this year. It's a talking picture frame. Haven't got it quite connected up just yet, but yeah, it works really well. And then I've got fog machines pretty much every corner of this room, so I've got 3 going off in here, but these little cauldrons also give a bit of fog and a bit of colour as well, which, you know, just makes it a little bit spooky as well. And then we're coming through. This guy needs a little bit of work. I haven't made his body yet. I haven't really sorted out the arms just yet as well, but I'll have him a bit more kitted out, ready for the day, and obviously he'll be a little bit closer and hopefully freak some people out when they come through here. And then here is an old dog crate. Put a body part in there, which I use again, expanding foam. Green lighting is going to be here because I want, again, a little bit bright but not too bright. And again, this guy gives off a little bit of fog as well, so that sort of helps add a bit more to the effect. And then coming around the corner, and then I've made these human pelts, which I saw online, and all these is basically bin bags melted, painted over, and then spray adhesive to put this sort of hair on, which works really well. Don't look fantastic in the daylight, but at night time with a strobe light shining on it, these look brilliant. So I'm really chuffed with these. Another thing I didn't show, it's an old pinhead that I made a long time ago. Anyway, so body parts coming through, and then in here, this is where we'll do some sort of ritual for the satanic ritual thing, that theme that we're going for. I have most of my actors in here, which again, like I said before, they're going to have some robes and some LED masks on, so a little bit like the Purge sort of thing, where their expressions don't change. I always think that really works really well. There's an animatronic actually on here which does rise if I did turn him on. So that gives a bit more effect. There's obviously a bit of smoke in here as well. This random pole I've had to use to get some of the water off the marquee, so that won't be there on the day, so sorry about that. And then coming around again, this will all be backlit as well, so it won't be too bright. This bucket, I'll have a water fountain in there that'll bubbling away. Not sure how I'm going to use it yet or what I'm going to decorate it, but I'm sort of imagine like taking some sort of organ out of this, stick it into that. The guests will have to walk around here or past the actors anyway to go to this other bit of sheeting, which again, I've got to do some work in here. There's the walls I'm not too happy with just yet, but at night time we get away with it, but I like to just get a bit more detail in. Yeah, and then when they come through, they're actually back to the beginning again. So again, that was where the spider webs were, and that's where the entrance is. I'm actually going to get them to go through here again where the bookcases were and the bottles, etc., and then they'll leave the marquee at the end of it. So again, there'll be another setting that I'll pull down just to sort of disorientate them a little bit more, but they will recognize that a little bit, and then they'll leave, and then we'll set up next two people in, and we'll just keep going for that cycle. So yeah, I could be here a little while, but hey, what's more fun than scaring people when they come in? So like I said, yeah, I've got the outside space with the pumpkins, the graveyards, which I'll show you in another video a bit closer to the time. I'll also show you, I don't know if you saw the video of my clown house. That's basically looks like a Freddy Krueger house. It was already here when he bought the house. So I've just changed a little bit of the lighting, put loads of clown stuff in it, and that works really well as well. But that's going to be basically where all the alcohol's going to be stored, because we've got a bit of an adults party later on that evening on Halloween. And that's where they can go. to get the alcohol, but it gets a little bit different theme, a little bit more of a scare while they're getting the drinks. But yeah, this is probably a little bit too scary for the younger children, so I might do something a little bit nicer, if you like, less scary outside. So if any teenagers feel brave enough to come through, they can. Otherwise they can go through the less scary maze. So that's pretty much everything, I think. I mean, there's still a hell of a lot of work to do. Still a few weeks left now, so got time. But if there's any questions, or if you notice something that you could probably add to it, please comment below, and I'll take your points on board, or I'll go through something in a bit more detail if you saw something you want me to explain. But I hope that helps. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.